And welcome to episode 110 of the Pos-cast. Rabbi Shmuel Posner, myself, Seth Hellman. Rabbi, how are we doing today?
Amazing, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, fine. I'm exhausted beyond being exhausted. I was exhausted, got more exhausted. Now it's like fine. So the week's travels began Monday morning at 5:30 a.m. That's after waking up and going to the mikveh. Off to New York, to Manhattan we went. What a great ride. If you have nothing else to do next year on Memorial Day in Boston, drive to Manhattan. It was such a clean travel. There was no traffic. There was parking places. There was whatever you could want in Manhattan was there. Which all I wanted was no traffic and a parking place. So for me, it was all I wanted. But we went there for a mitzvah, but one of those mitzvahs you wish you never have to do, which is
Burying someone?
a mitzvah you don't want to do, marry someone? What are you saying?
No, bury.
Oh, bury. This is close. It's a shiva call.
Okay.
At Solomon Michalov, his father passed away. If you don't know who he is, you don't know who he is. We throw out the names in case, throw something against the wall, maybe it hits something. So, and it was a nice, you know what they say, there's a mission that it says in Pirkei Avos, Al tistaka b'kankan el shma b'toichi. Don't look at the container, look what's inside it. So you come to Manhattan and there's this building, it's like this brick building, it's big, it's not new, it's not clean, it's just like, Then you have to go upstairs in this old elevator, walk through the hallway. Are you listening? And then go into the apartment. It's like, this is gorgeous. It was not ostentatious, it wasn't rich, it was just it looked like it had been remodeled relatively recently. It was nice. It's just a nice little apartment. And we just thought, because it's a duplex. So we were walk in, there's a kitchen, there's a dining room, living room area where we daven. We had a beautiful minyan, Baruch Hashem. And the upstairs, I don't know about the upstairs. So sometimes I Zoom with him, with Solomon. I said, when I spoke to him yesterday, I was Zooming with him. I said, are you upstairs or downstairs? I wasn't Zooming, I was talking on the phone. He said, I'm upstairs. Shucks. He says, why? Why do you want to know? Because if you were downstairs, I could picture where you are. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you change your background, where are you? So I was there for a shiva call. And so he led the davening. And he's Bukhari. Bukharian was part of the Soviet Union. So he speaks Russian. I never knew he speaks Russian. He says, I knew. I didn't know. He comes mother there. He's talking Russian. Like, what's going on here? But so he's a Russian. He's a Sephardi, because the Bukhari are the Sephardi. And he speaks Russian. So that breaks two, what do you call them? Stereotypes. That all Sephardim come from, the Far East. I guess Bukhari, wherever the place is the east part of Russia. So maybe it is close to those places. Anyway, so yeah, dark-skinned Russian, not very dark, but not white, speaks Russian and is Sephardi. Everything mixed together, all these different things. And so Sephardic davening, as you may know, the Chazan basically says everything out loud. And it was beautiful. He said, I hope I wasn't going too fast or too slow. I think he was doing a perfect speed. It's very nice, very nice. Then this young Sephardic rabbi came in afterwards, gave a little drash. Oh, and they had the Sephardic Torah, which, you open it up it's a box.
Yeah, it's the big round.
But the thing is, that only works when you have a high bima. So if you ever seen a Sephardic shul, they don't have a beam like we do, because we have to lie the Torah down, so it's long. By them, it's not wide. It's like 3 feet, the most. And it doesn't have a slant, because it's a box that opens up. But he, in his house, he has a table. And so the Sephardic rabbi was supposed to come read the Torah. This is a Monday. He wasn't there. He says, he said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I'm like, we got 10 men here. We're sitting and wait 10 minutes for the guy to come. It was Memorial Day. It wasn't like anybody was in a rush. But, I was sitting around delaying everybody, waiting for the guy to come. I said, we'll read it. But when he opened it up, it was the bottom of the page. And I'd like, how can you see it? I couldn't see it even. I'd like lean down, read out of the Sephardic Torah. So that was an experience. That was Monday. Then went to Crown Heights. Visit my father, of course, Baruch Hashem. And Tuesday morning, we went to Binghamton for the bris of our grandson. Along the way, I had to pick up. Well, one of the brothers of the newborn is studying in Crown Heights, and one is studying in Westchester. I don't even remember what town it was. So we had to go to. Picked him up Crown Heights. Went to the aisle. From the aisle, went to Westchester and then to Binghamton for the bris. The bris is beautiful. So there's no students. I think he said there was 2 students here, probably grad students. But it's very nice because there's a community there also. And there's a few shluchim that were there. Most of the shluchim aren't there because they haven't there. Whatever, they're away. Doesn't matter why. So it was like 75 people, probably at least 25, maybe 30 children. And it was very calm. It wasn't the students are coming and going. There's a rush. And I think also the weather was nice. Whenever we go there, when the students, it's cold and it's raining and it's it was very nice. Perfect weather. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so the baby's name is, do you know the baby's name?
I know the first name.
The baby's first name?
Yeah, does he have more than one Hebrew name, or is it just one?
No, just one.
It's Yisrael.
Yisrael.
Right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I posted it. Oh, you know. Yeah, Yisrael.
Yeah, you posted on your Instagram story.
Yeah, I don't know who knows why and when. So why did they name Yisrael? So Zalman, his father, gave a little talk and said it. First of all, the Baal Shem Tov's yard site is on Shavuos. Also, we think about Eretz Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, the nation of Israel, this land of Israel. I'm not really sure why they named it Israel. I don't really know. So, of course, Yisrael liked it, and my sister in Israel likes it because she has a son, his name is Yisrael. So in our family chat, one of I think Meir said, "So how's Sruli doing?" And I think somebody else, I think it was Shom, said, "Izzy." I think his name will be Yisrael, but it might be a little confusing. I don't think so.
Yeah, you've already got a Yisrael.
Well, what do you mean? He has an uncle Yisrael, there's a nephew Yisrael. It's okay. It is fine. Ultimately, names come by Ruach HaKodesh. My Wachani always says. She says, I can't know the name of the baby till I see the baby. Our own children. Even though we talked about names before, obviously. But then, so what does it mean? So I don't know. When I'll see the baby, we'll know. And then she looks at the baby and she decides what name fits or not fits. And my big story is that my grandfather, my mother's father, Olam Shalom, passed away before our first son was born, Meir Shlema. And when he was born, that Shabbos, I think he was born like a Thursday maybe. That Shabbos, the Rebbe spoke about his grandfather, whose name was Meir Shlema. And I didn't remember. Maybe the Rebbe did mention it at other times in February, and I didn't remember it, and it didn't matter. But the fact that he spoke about that Shabbos, it stuck in my head, and he was talking about how he was like devoted to Torah study. In Yiddish, they call it a zitzer. It means to sit. Like he would sit even after he was married. He was a big Torah scholar. So that's cool. That's cool. So I said to Chani, and even though my grandfather passed away already, not long before then, because it's like 30 years ago, much more, closer to 40, between 35 and 40 years ago. Anyway, so my mother.
How old is your oldest child?
We're not talking about that now. So.
That is what we're talking about. You don't know the age of your oldest child.
First of all, don't be a funny face. I know how long we've been here in Boston. She was born 3 weeks before we got here. That's an easy one. It's like if you said to me how old my 5th child, there's no chance. No chance.
Do you even know which child is your 5th child?
I can figure it out. Give me a minute. So just listen to me. So my mother said to me, she said, I'm not telling you to name it after my father, but I just ask you one thing. Don't give him any other name with it. Because some people are very specific about that. You name it after a person, you give him that name, not no other name. And then after that, we named him Meir Shlema, just because that's what we did. And then our second son, his name is Eliezer. That was named after my grandfather, my mother. And you know what? When he came out, like just the shape of his face, I said, "Oh, this reminds me of my grandfather." It was weird. Why would they say that? Even today, now, you look at the two of them, you'll say this one looks more like your grandfather than that one. So anyway, that's how it works. Baruch HaKodesh. Why name Yisrael? Because that's what Hashem wanted him to name. That's his soul. That's the connection. That's the point. Anyway, that's that. So I gave a little talk there, obviously. He asked me. So usually he asks me before, Zalman. He says, "Do you want to speak? Are you going to say something?" I said, "Of course, if you want." Yeah. This time after he spoke, he said, "You want to say a few words?" Which normally, like, you ask me, but of course I was prepared. I was prepared. When I stupid, I'm not going to be prepared when I'm not ready to speak. I told my father told me this many, many years ago. He says, anytime you go somewhere, there's an event happening, you need to be ready to have something to say. Even if you don't, there's only a slight chance they'll ask you, you got to be ready. So I do that. I think about, if I go there, what would happen? They ask me to speak. And sometimes, if they don't ask me to speak, I'm like, oh man, I could have said something much better than these guys. Once in a blue moon, not often, I'll just like bust out, excuse me, I want to say a few words because I have what to say. It's not me, it's what, I'm channeling something. So I got up there and said, this fits what you were talking about, what you asked me. On Friday night, I announced that, Chani's not here, she's in Binghamton helping Rachel with the newborn baby, and after bench, we're going to have a little extra dessert. It'll be like the Shalom Zachar when you welcome the baby, even though the baby's not here, da-da-da. So somebody said, how many children does your daughter have? And I froze because in my mind, I got it. I got, there's Mendel and there's Berkey and there's Bushki and there's Sterny and there's Avrami and Shammai and Mato. But in my mind, that each one of them is lined up there. I have a perfect picture of it. I said the names out loud at the bris because I was showing off. They actually knew their names because I was sitting at the table with the family, the girls from New York came, and our Mitzvah was there, and Meir Shlomo was there. He was the Sandik. So anyway, I was, it's like the whole names. They're like a quiet little chip. So I knew them as who they are, but it's not a number. It's like just 6 or 5. It's not how many children she has. I know each one of them individually with their unique qualities. So when you give me a number, it's like I can't even count them because then it's like counting them just as there's no individual relevance to each one of them. But in this week's Parsha Bamidbar, what do you call the 4th book of the Torah in English? It's called Numbers. Why? Because the Jews are counted, and boom, I go into a counting drash. Boom. The importance of counting, and when you count something, this talk I've given over probably, one of those top, the top 10 is right up there. That when you count something, it gets value. The Torah says, why does God count the Jewish people? Because He likes them. He loves them. So what does it mean? He has to show His love by counting them. What does counting them do? What does it accomplish? So the halacha is that certain things get nullified, right? 1 in 60, sometimes in a majority it can nullify. But something that's counted doesn't get nullified. Why? Because when you count it means each one has individual value, so he doesn't get nullified. So Hashem counts the Jewish people to show that He loves them. But why does He actually express the counting in the Torah? Because that manifests that value in the world. So counting is important. The idea of number is important. And then I segue straight in, and that means today we welcome in a new member of the tribe of the nation of Israel, the Jewish people. His name is Yisrael, and Yisrael is, like Zalman said, this Yeshish and Rubiloisis. So tell you, there's 600,000 letters to the Torah, and that means as we're preparing to receive the Torah, a Torah scholar has to have every letter in it. If it's missing a letter, it's disqualified. And 600,000 Jews have to be at Mount Sinai because there's a parallel between the Jews and the Torah and Hashem. The three are connected together. And so therefore, every one of us here has to be wary of the fact that every mitzvah that you count, every mitzvah that you do is important. And I threw a little advert for tefillin. I saw Mendel before putting on tefillin with people. If he asks you to put on tefillin, you should put on tefillin with him. Because every mitzvah that you do is important and matters and makes a difference. And we should hope that this, and same thing also, it says that all the souls that have to come down to the world have to come down to the world. This is not the end of the Pos-cast. all the Jews souls have to come down through until then Mashiach can't come, and therefore let's all do mitzvahs and we should welcome Mashiach. And that's how I ended my speech. And I just want to know. I want you to know something. I hope Chani's not going to be upset. I don't think she will, but Chani said, Chani, like, she's not effusive in her praise. I don't like, because that wouldn't be, and I'm not either. Like I say, oh, that was nice. That was good. It was good. She was like, I can sit down and she gave like a nod. Like she was happy with what I said. Sometimes, when she's not happy, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Like, why did you say that? Why did you say that? When I got a little bit to the edge, like, why did you say that? So number one is when there's no critique, that's already a compliment. And then when there's like a little acknowledgement, then it's like, okay. And that's what I said, and that's what it is. So that's beautiful. So now I was in their house, and I probably saw this picture before. I probably have a copy of it before, but I saw it there, and I thought it was so beautiful. And so now I was taking a picture of the picture on the wall, and said, no, there's a book that has pictures. So Zalman's family made a book of photo pictures of the family with the Rebbe, meaning like his father of blessed memory, his mother, she should be well, and each one of the kids, obviously when they were young, we're going back to over 30 years ago. So so there's a picture of him as a little boy, and then there's a picture of. So first show the picture of Zalman, please.
Hang on. I gotta figure out which one's which. Okay, I think it's this one first.
What?
We'll find out. Hang on.
Okay, if it's the wrong order, it's the wrong order. It doesn't matter that much.
Sure. Sure. Is that the right one?
While we wait an advertisement, guys, you can go to yeshiva. Any students, you can go to yeshiva in Israel. They'll give you $1,000 for your airfare. You got to be out of your mind completely if you don't have it. Make the time. Your internship is very important. Take off 2-3 weeks and go to yeshiva in Israel. My note: men or women, men and women can go, and it's the best time of your life. And it supports Israel. It supports you. It's an opportunity. You can't do anything more valuable during your summer. No pictures?
Do you not see it?
I do not see it.
Oh, it's giving me trouble today. Hang on.
Okay, so it's okay. We'll get it next time.
No. I'll share it differently. Hang on. What had happened was you sent them to me and they're like sideways in the email.
Not sideways.
And so I had downloaded them so that I could rotate them.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, it is unhappy.
It's not working. Okay.
So
it's not working.
Let's do it this way instead. Hang on.
Let's shout out to my good friend Zev Tzvi, who said he listened to the Pos-cast last week. I said, I didn't think it was so great. No, it was good just hearing you talking. It was okay. It was good. So that was a good, Although we do prepare and I do think about it and try to make it relevant to what we're talking about. Today's Rosh Chodesh. We got to talk about it. Oh, now it's a little crooked. Okay, people can see it. They turned their head. There he's getting Kaishal Bracha. Rebbe's giving out a little bit of wine from his cup. I would hazard to say that this is after Shavuos, because you see there's bottles of vodka that the Rebbe gives to special people bring back to their town. You can also see the Rebbe's hair is a little bit long. So I don't know what year this was, but maybe it was Shavuos and everybody managed to get a haircut before Shavuos. I don't know. Okay, next picture. That's Zalman. Little Zalman. And there's, you couldn't fit this one. So there's me and holding Rachel, and I don't know why she posed perfectly for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm holding two cups. That's what I used to do when you bring a kid, because obviously you couldn't hold her. And you see, with my left hand, I'm holding her hand. Just, I'm trying to keep her in, close to me, and, she shouldn't fall out, she shouldn't grab something. And so that was it, those two pictures. So that's hanging in her house. Beautiful.
Look at how short your beard is.
I was much younger. I was biologically younger.
I can tell.
Okay, get off the pictures. We're going to talk about shiva now. So this is what we need to know. We need to know that Shavuos doesn't start Sunday night. Well, it does. But the Jews arrived at Mount Sinai today, Rosh Chodesh. And it's in the Chumash. It doesn't say Rosh Chodesh. It says they came in Parsha Yitro. Before it says the Ten Commandments, it's like about 10 psukim there, 10 psukim that talk about what happened. The Jews came there. Hashem told them, and those verses are so important. They're so important. You know why? Because over there Hashem says to Moshe, tell the Jewish people all the things I've done for them. And now I'm taking them as my people. Ask them if they want it. That's not the exact words. You look them up. But he says to them, you'll be for me a holy nation, you'll be a nation of ministers, of priests, and you'll be my treasure. And the Jews said yes. That's the moment that the Jews became the chosen people. That's the verses right there. But then there's a whole discussion in the Gemara, what day they came, and what day is Shavuos. Because Shavuos is 49 days after you start counting the Omer, on the 50th day. What day of the month it is, the Torah doesn't tell us. Every other holiday has a day of the month. This one doesn't have a day of the month. So the question is, when should we celebrate it? So it depends, because it starts in Nisan, counting the Omer. Then you have the month of Iyar, Rosh Chodesh Iyar, the whole month of Iyar, and then you have Nisan. Then you have Sivan. So what day of the month should be Shavuos? Now, because Nisan could have 29 days or 30 days, Iyar could have 29 or 30 days, it could change a day up and back. And doesn't matter. Because ultimately what we're doing is counting 49 days. So the question is, when did the Jews receive the Torah? What day of the month was it? And the Gemara goes through a whole discussion about it. But the point is that one thing it says that we know they came there. We know two things are given as a fact. The Jews came to Har Sinai in Rosh Chodesh. They received the Torah on Shabbos. The question was it Sunday or Monday? So is it 6 or is it 7? That's the question. The Gemara is in Shabbos. You can go check it out, page 87b. You can read the whole Gemara, then it goes up and back till it decides what it is. There's a disagreement between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yechanan, maybe. This disagreement in the Gemara was a 6 or 7. It goes through all kinds of proofs to figure it out. That's not the point I want to make. Everybody agrees they came there the first day was Rosh Chodesh. Everybody agrees on that day nothing happened. Nothing happened. Hashem didn't speak to them. Nothing happened. They just came there. And so what happened on that day? So the Gemara says that Hashem didn't say anything to them because they were tired from their travels. And the Rebbe says, when they were tired from their travels, they've been counting 49 days, now they finally come there, they're tired. Come on, how could this be? He says, no, it's a spiritual thing. Because what it does say is, at that point it says, Vayichan Sham. Vayichan means they rested, but it's singular, not plural. Because they were all unified together as one. It wasn't the physical travel. It was the movement of mindset that we're not disparate 600,000 people. We're all united as one to receive the Torah. So today is the day of Jewish unity, of recognizing the oneness of all the Jews because of their neshama, and that's what had to be accomplished on that day of Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Another place, Rebbe says, Rosh Chodesh is after the moon gets very small, and then it gets big. We count by the moon. Other people, like the secular calendar, is a solar calendar. The sun is always the same. It's closer or further, but every day the sun comes up, the sun comes out. But the moon goes away. You can't see it. And so you think, what does that mean it goes away? It's not that it's leaving and it's getting diminished for no reason. What it's doing is it's taking on energy to come back with more strength. And this therapy takes a lesson. Sometimes you may have challenges in life and you're not learning as well as you should. You're not davening the way you should. You're not doing mitzvahs the way you should. Don't look at that downtime as being, this is terrible. Look at it as a time now to re-energize yourself and then move forward in a positive way. And I now remember seeing this before, which doesn't mean anything. I'm not that smart, but it was such a powerful thought that it's not like the idea. Sometimes it says like the moon gets full and then it gets nullified. So and then it shines again. So become nullified. To Hashem, you can grow even bigger. But here the Rebbe wasn't saying that. He was talking he was actually talking to the women. Every year before Shavuos, down to the 7th would be filled with the women and the girls that had graduated from the Beis Rivka school, the girls' school, and then we'll give them a dress before Shavuos. And in a way, the way the Rebbe spoke to him was very different when he speaks to Rav Abraham. It was more like having a conversation with them. Just the type of Yiddish and the way he spoke was different. And this message, I think, was giving like a very powerful message to mothers. Like when you see your children, I'm just interpreting this, You're seeing your children are having a hard time. Don't think like it's like a negative thing. It might be they need to have a little downtime so they can come back in a more powerful and empowered way. And I think a good lesson for every one of us. So this is a time to make resolutions to come back. Shavuos is a time of learning Torah, time to invigorate ourselves in the study of Torah. Getting ready. You don't have to wait for Shavuos. You can start now. And also today is time to talk about unity amongst Jewish people. And this I end my speech in Binghamton. The beginning of the relationship between Hashem and the Jewish people was Aman Torah. It's like a chuppah. Put the mountain on the top, like a chuppah, other things that we find at Mount Torah that we symbolize at a wedding. And that was the beginning of the relation. When the Jews move in with Hashem permanently in the third base, that's when the third base Mish comes, with the Kam Mashiach Tzidkenu. David Melch's Yartzeit is on Shavuos as well. The Baal Shem Tov also. Baal Shem Tov was talked about bringing Mashiach. David Melch Shal Chai V'Kaim, we say that when we bless the moon, because King David and the Davidic dynasty is forever. It's all about Mashiach. Let's have it now, mamash.
Amen.
Everybody have a good Shabbos and a good Yontif, and the blessing for Shavuos is to receive the Torah b'simcha u'b'pnimius, with joy and internally.
Fantastic. And with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 110 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner. We will see you next week.